Jason, last year Maxie had a lot of injuries, and he dealt with the protocol. He said he's completely healthy. What are you expecting from him this season?
Oh, I think we saw some of that in the preseason. That's what we expect. Playing both sides of the ball, being having the ability to come off the bench if there's an injury, to being able to start. You can use him in a lot of different ways. He can play a lot of different positions, and so we look for him to continue to shoot the ball like he did in Milwaukee. But even the shots he got in Charlotte were all great shots. And what I love about that is everybody kept telling him to shoot, and I think no one had to tell him he was going to do that, right? And so, uh, if he can stay healthy, just like KP, I think you're going to see the best version of themselves.
You guys were employed on the preseason. Were you able to accomplish everything you wanted to accomplish so far in training camp in the preseason?
Yeah, I think we accomplished everything. We went back and looked at all the boxes that we wanted to check, and we checked, pretty much everything from energy and effort, building our chemistry and accountability, and having fun. So I think we did that, and those guys did a great job. Those 20 guys that were on that roster, really did a good job, and the ones that we let go, unfortunately, again, they participated at a high level for us. And so it's a great camp. Now we turn the page and start the journey for the regular season.
Hey, Jay Kidd.
Hey,
Good afternoon.
how you doing?
Great to talk to you. Good to see you. Because it's a high-profile opener that is, you obviously want to get off to a good start. I'm sure is everything still oriented on work on your concepts and what you want to do, or do you start getting an early jump on scouting the first one of the month already?
Yeah, today we we focused on ourselves, our concept, offensively and defensively, and coming off a day off, we as a staff we didn't think going into today's practice we would focus on Atlanta. We got time for Atlanta tomorrow and Wednesday and Thursday, so we have some time.
Jason, are you
Hey, Brent.
pretty sure this is the roster you're going to go with the season?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And what do you like about it? I mean, as you step back and evaluate the roster as a whole, what things jump out to you?
The different combination, when you talk about the roster, the different combinations that you can throw out there. You can go big, you can go medium, and you can go small. And so I like our depth. I like where everybody's at mentally and physically. And so I'm excited to see them start this journey. Um, it's not always going to be perfect, and we're not going to win every game. So I'm looking forward to that.
Hey, Jason, you mentioned that you like the way that Luka has kind of improved his demeanor and interactions with refs.
Yeah.
What advice have you given him on that front? How he can channel his emotions, and I guess just generally how you work with him on improving that?
We just talked about it, and so he had already had a plan in place. So I didn't have to really go too deep with that plan of my own. But he's ready, and as you can see, he didn't say too much to the referees or complain. I also thought he could use some of that energy for the fourth quarter, and so just I think 22 there's a maturity, right? It's he's going in the right direction. He understands what everybody's saying. I think outside. And I think he doesn't like that, right? And so he wants to fix that. And that's a part of development. And he's doing a great job up to this point, and we'll hold him accountable for his plan.
Yeah, Jason, there's been a lot of talk about the new and improved KP. I know you weren't here last year, but what are some of the changes you've seen in him other than him being completely healthy?
Yeah, I think when you talk about KP, the fun that he's having, we've always talked about his health. But I think he's just mentally and physically in a great place. He's having fun playing. He's a basketball player, and so he's gonna, be in the post. He's gonna be on the perimeter. He's gonna be himself, and I think we all like who he is today. And we can only learn from the past. But again, we talked about health. It's hard sometimes when you're not healthy to be able to move. or do the things that you want to do. And I think he's able to do everything he wants on the floor on both ends.
Okay, we have a couple on Zoom. Dwayne.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Coach, just a little off of you guys' career, but it's up your alley in terms of your career as a player and as a coach. Wanted to ask about, Chris Paul, much was made of him impacting Devin Booker, rightfully so. Where do you feel like Devin impacted Chris last season? And you have two closers that are on the perimeter. How does that take the team maybe from one place to another?
Yeah, I think Chris, just, again, his basketball IQ, he's competitive, wants to win, is going to do everything to win. I think his teammates saw that. I think also being able to play make, helping Devin just be Devin, let him be Book, and not where he had to bring the ball up or be the point guard. I thought he took some of that pressure off of Book, and you saw Book was at a very high level and will be at the highest level this year. And I think just Chris's way of communicating to his teammates, they trust and believe that he's going to do the right thing and put them in the right situation to be successful.
Okay, we got
I
one.
guess just on the other flip side of that, how do you feel like Devin impacted Chris?
Well, Devin's younger, and so sometimes when you're around someone younger, they tend to make you feel younger. And Chris has played for a long time, and again, being able to offensively carry the load when Chris might have been tired. I think being able to rest when you're on the floor is something big in this league when you're a star.
Okay, and last one, Leonardo.
Hi, Coach. It's Leonardo Torres from Peru. Hope you're well. Coach, how can you describe the relationship between Luka and KP?
The relationship in one word, or you want a paragraph? I think they're great. I mean, there's a lot of examples out there. They're sitting next to each other on the bench talking. I think KP fell. Luka was the first one in Charlotte to be there off the bench to pick him up. I think it's just natural that, their relationship is great. They both are playing the game. They're both having fun. They're both being artists on the floor. And so I think it's really, really good. That's the only way I can see it. In the short time I've been with those two, I would have always said there was no problem because those guys are always talking.
Are we happy the preliminaries are over? You're on to preparing for the real thing?
Yeah, I think everybody's excited. I mean, obviously preseason was about coming together, getting to know each other, and now we want to build up on what we did, keep working, starting today, and then prepare for the first games, but we're all excited to finally play.
Max, how difficult was it last year? I know you had a lot of injuries. You was in the health and safety protocol for a minute. Are you completely healthy now?
Yeah, well, I guess it was a struggle for everybody who had COVID and coming back. There was not really a lot of time, and then my body had some issues and whatever. I'm fully healthy now, and I'm happy I can move and run again the way I want to. And I think that's the number one thing for everybody here on the team, just staying healthy, because we have a really great roster, great guys, and we all can play basketball. We just got to stay healthy and, keep working now.
What are your expectations for this team this season?
Expectations? I mean, we have high expectations, and like a guy like Luka, for example, he's a winner. Everywhere he went or played, he won championships. So for us, is the goal obviously make the playoffs and then go from there. This is a day-by-day business then, but we want to compete. We want to play to our best and just win as many games as possible.
Hey, Maxie. You talked about your injuries and just the general isn't moving as well. In terms of your actual production on the court, what did you feel? What parts of your game were most affected by those injuries?
Just being reactive, running and jumping, the really explosive stuff. I could still go up and down. It was painful, but the really jumping and sprinting part was tough to do. So it kind of slowed me down a little bit.
Gotcha. So I know for you it's more about how you actually feel on the court. But even like in a stats perspective, do you feel like you weren't blocking as many shots or you weren't getting as many, doubles or 2-pointers that you would have guys previously?
I don't know. I don't know if I can compare it like that or whatever, because it depends on the games, how teams play defense, what our offensive system is, and on how many dunks or whatever I would get. And on blocks, it's sometimes you get like 3-4 blocks, sometimes 0. Even though you contest a lot of shots, it's more about like making shots hard and contesting them than getting like the statistic.
Yeah, you mentioned the roster. Unless there's other moves, this appears to be the roster you're going to go into the season with. What are the things you like, and maybe what strikes you as being different about it?
I think we have first of all, really great guys. Like the chemistry is amazing, and we have a lot of shooting power. I think that makes it easy for Luka coming off the screens, because we know they're gonna show a lot of attention to him. So everybody's ready to shoot, and everybody can shoot, and we all got the green light to let the ball fly. So I think it makes it a little bit easier for him too. And on the defensive end, I think we have a lot of young guys too. They're hungry. They want to get stops, and it's a main focus in practice too. Like this, going to be a big difference that we want to be defensively even better.
And then what do you think of the schemes that the coaches?
We got a lot of freedom. We just play free basketball because we know everybody has talent and can make the right decision, and that's how we play in practice.
Actually, can you explain to me what that inner blue line, like about 16 feet from the basket, what that means defensively?
Yeah, it's defensively. I don't know how much information I can give you about that. It's one of our schemes. This blue line stands for something on our defensive schemes, and it just helps us in practice to communicate it. And then during the game, we don't have that line, obviously, but we have whereabouts most likely. So, but I can't give you the detail unless you ask the coaches and they talk about it. What did they say?
Jason, he said he stole it from the Lakers.
Oh, he did. Yeah.
But it has to do with the pick and roll.
It has to do with pick and roll, yeah. It's gonna be a secret.
We won't tell anyone he told us.
Max,
That's a lie.
what have you seen on KP doing training camp and all that? Because he seems to be rejuvenated.
Yeah, I mean, he seems like he's healthy. He did a lot of work this summer. And, with being healthy, it's just a different confidence, because if you trust in your body, you play different, you show up differently. And I think he showed that, he's out there moving well. He's making his shots. He looks very confident. We're very happy that he's finally figured it out, and we just got to maintain it like that.
Okay, we're going to go. I got a question on Zoom for Leonardo.
Hi, Maxi. It's Leonardo Torres from Peru. Hope you're well.
How you doing?
Maxi, how would you describe the team chemistry heading into this new NBA season?
Like I said, the team chemistry is really good. It's pretty easy when you win all the preseason games, I would say. But one of the big things that we talked about is accountability and the team chemistry, and we worked on that every day, off the court, on the court. And we have great guys. Nobody's going crazy or whatever, so we all get along. We had team dinners and stuff like that, and we're really excited to finally start, because we know what we can do. We know we got a good team, so we just want to go ahead and play.